hopefully more people will come and join us because we have a really exciting talk coming up next. We're talking about mom technology. Companies that are creating innovations to make it easier for mothers and fathers and people to get out into the workplace while they're still raising their children at home and being able to be connected and also speaking to where women are in the workplace today, and men. I don't want to exclude men. So I want to introduce my next guest, Sarah Dorsett. She's the CEO of Nanit. The fabulous CEO. Come on and have a seat.
Going up the stairs.
All right. Well, thank you. I've had an opportunity to get to know. We go way, 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 way back.
So far, all the way to Monday.
Yeah, just a few days. But I am so excited for this company that you're now heading at the helm of, Nanit, and the technology, making it possible for working moms. I've said I have 4 kids. Mine are not kids anymore. But had I had this technology then, I might have a lot fewer gray hairs than I actually do. Thank God for color. So anyway, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Let's start by talking about Nanit. What is Nanit for those who don't know?
Well, I tout Nanit as the world's smartest baby monitor, mainly because of the type of technology and just sort of the idea behind what we wanted to create with this product. So it uses computer vision technology to help parents understand how their baby is doing in the crib. So you can understand your baby's sleep, understand different patterns of behavior in the crib, and use that information in all sorts of different ways. So part of what we like to do is capture the information and then help parents understand all the different ways that they can use it. And it really helps to sort of give you a roadmap or navigate this sort of overwhelming parenting world when you first bring a child home. So that's Nanit.
So give me a typical day in the life of a parent with Nanit technology.
So we'll start with the morning. So in the morning, the first thing you receive every single morning is a time-lapse video. So you get to see how your baby did that night. And that is something parents love because you're not with them. So you just left your baby all alone in the crib. And the next thing you know, you get to wake up and you get to see how they did. So there's not many tools that can give you that back. So you get this special, unique moment every single morning. Then a lot of parents check how well they slept. So how long did they sleep? When did they fall asleep? How often did they wake up? It even records you going in, whether as a parent, and checking on baby, just checking on them, or actually taking them out of the crib. So you'll see how much you had to interact with them at night and how well they slept, and you'll get a efficiency score for their sleep. So usually they check their stats, take a look, and of course then they go engage with baby, and they're out of the crib. Then during nap time during the day, we see parents keep their app open at least 3 hours during the day. So when their baby is in that crib, Nanit's also very portable. So in some cases, they're using Nanit as almost a nanny cam around the house before bedtime. And then at night, it really depends based on about 5 days into when, babies are 5 days into using Nanit, there's enough data for the technology to trigger sleep training advice. So we see parents start to use the advice based on the data that they're seeing that's being triggered, and then we watch whether they're using it or not me personally, but the app will tell you if things are improving or changing because these tips are being followed. And so often parents are using it for the training advice as well. And then I think one of the favorite features everybody loves is you can create a unique parenting team, so unique profiles for grandparents and caregivers and other friends and family. So in some cases, with the lack of a true village these days, it becomes a bit of a modern village for families. And I always say, you could take a shower if you let grandma, into Nanit for an hour and watch them in the crib. So there's just kind of endless features like that. I could probably go all day about it.
Wow, that's really incredible. I mean, think of how far we've come with technology over the years, and it started out, I guess, with just a nanny cam, and now we've got full-blown technology that's teaching us how to be better parents.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. One of the reasons I took this role and was so passionate about this job was when I became a parent, I felt like there was no map, there were no tools. I'm sure everybody sort of feels that way. And when I realized that Nanit had the power to be one, a modern one, I couldn't wait to be a part of it.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, is that a two-way app also? Is it communicating? Could you communicate with your baby as well through the technology?
Yes. So one of the things I really love is not only can you as a parent engage, and there's music and sounds, there's all sorts of stuff in this little tiny box, but as I said earlier, with the user profiles, if you were to invite grandparents and family members in, they can also talk to the baby. So grandma, who might be half a world away, could read your baby a story, or even just check in and say goodnight. So there's a lot of opportunities to keep families really connected.
You mentioned earlier that when you joined the company and when you decided to take over as CEO, some of the things that were so exciting about this company, this technology. But I love the fact that we spoke about this the other day, that companies are realizing the importance of putting women in the key conversations at the table when these decisions are being made about family, about technology, when it comes to babies. And so kudos to Nanit. But also that speaks to the breadth of knowledge and experience that you have put in to get to this place.
I will say that I'm very fortunate, being a VC-backed company, that there was recognition that a mother could add a lot of insight to this brand, and think about the ways that we could use the technology, because a lot of the ways that we use the technology are very kind of high-touch ways, very emotionally driven ways. And so I think I mentioned this, I sort of bring mom to work every single day, when I think about what are the things that just drove me nuts, what were things that I just hated doing, what were things that were just annoying or I didn't understand, and could any of that be automated when you use Nanit? And my hope is that a lot of it can.
Well, that brings me to another point. You are a mother, and you're a working mother, and so no one understands more than you why this kind of technology is important. And do you think that plays a major role in just your leadership and your ideas, and the fact that you kind of been there, done it? Does that play a large role in the success also of this product and how other mothers and fathers embrace it?
I hope so. A lot of the things that I think about, but that the team actually talks about, is sort of how do we relate. And technology is amazing, right? And it can give you all of these stats. So like I'm wearing an Oura ring, I like, the quantified self, and I'm on that bandwagon too. But one of the things that I think parents need is that emotional connection side of things. And so one of the things that we try to do with the company is demystify the tech. So it's not really techie. So you don't feel like, oh, I have this techie thing that I have to put in this room in order to learn. We want it to feel really simple, really natural, like just an extension of what you would normally be doing as a parent.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot today about demystifying the tech. And I think the people that are here today are probably more technologically savvy than the average person and maybe the average mom in certain areas. But this market with mom tech has really skyrocketed in over the past year, and definitely over the past several years. What do you attribute that to?
I think that we've become very comfortable with technology. So, we have our phones, which are little computers. Then the world, I think, became very comfortable, or at least the U.S. became very comfortable with security cameras and being connected to being able to see what's going on and be alerted to what's going on around your home. So we just became really comfortable with technology, but not enough of it was really kind of in this parenting baby space. Because when you think about a nursery, there aren't a lot of really technical products in the space. So a baby monitor is a really natural, I think, fit for that gap. And because of as the comfort level with technology and our reliance on technology has evolved, I think more and more parents are looking for those tools, whether it's apps or Nanit or other types of tech that they can leverage because now they feel good about it.
A lot of people here are innovators, entrepreneurs, and some are heading companies, but you have a really a broad range of experience and leadership. For those who are watching out there and also those who are here and maybe people who have an idea, how important is it to amass as much experience and diverse experience as you can to build a successful company?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think the answer for me to that is that my comfort level is in having a lot of experience. So I took on the role because I had all of this experience and I thought, oh, I can do this. You know, a lot of the problems that I tackle are problems that I have been faced with before, but now I can challenge myself in new ways. But I also think that sometimes that experience comes with limitations. So on the other side of things, sometimes it can limit you on what you think is possible, you know, because you've been there, done that, tried all this stuff, and then you don't maybe consider going back and doing that thing that you failed at before, you know, and trying it a new way. So I think it really depends on your comfort level and sort of the support that you have and how you feel about the information you need to feel successful, and how comfortable you are with failure. You know, some people can just move right through it. I tend to be somebody who really liked to have a very deep knowledge base before I took on something like this.
You mentioned to me earlier that you spend your day talking to engineers all day, and you're not an engineer, right? Right, and so you have to be able to be comfortable and lead that. But how important is it really for businesses, any business, to include women in that conversation, to include leadership from women in the conversation when developing technology today?
One of the things that I've really noticed about having women in conversations, especially when it comes to technology in our organization personally, and then also with kind of the e-commerce businesses that I've run and built in my background, is the approach is a little bit different. There's a more emotive or softer side to asking questions about what tech can do. And I think the thinking that comes with kind of, I'm trying to solve a problem, but how would I break it down in my head? I tend to see that when women come into the picture and ask those questions, the conversation becomes less technical. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think there is value in it. I think there's a place for it.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. I'm not saying that women are more emotional always. I don't want to stereotype, but there is just a different way that we might communicate or address certain problems. I wanted to ask if anybody had any questions, and if so, I'd love to get to them. But what is the future of Nanit? Where is Nanit going right now? It's babies. Your children are no longer babies. Mine are not babies. But you know, does the company have plans to expand to other populations of children?
Well, right now we have so much opportunity where we are. I believe we can go a lot deeper into the parenting experience with the age, but we have absolutely thought about other age groups and other ranges. My hope is that the data and the moments that we captured now will be very valuable to families, you know, throughout their lifetime, and can be used in so many different ways. So really giving parents that snapshot and that history of how their baby did, and if that could play into future decisions about how they sleep or their own health or their own happiness and joy, you know, when they look back on some of these moments that they never would have captured. So I think we need to continue to kind of go deep there. But a lot of the things that we're building have applications well beyond what Nanit does today.
Yeah, that's another thing you and I were talking about. Like, I was a working mother. I have 4 kids, and I was a young mom. So I literally graduated college with my first daughter on the stage with me, and then I went through my career as a news anchor from station to station. I dropped my daughter off at school. Someone picked her up from school, and she was at, after school, and I have no idea what happened until dinner time. It was like, and I'm rushing to get there to pick her up and make it to, get some dinner on the table. And what a blessing it would have been to just know that she was okay, and to be able to see that or communicate with her. So I love where we are. It almost makes you want to have another child. Just kidding. I have a puppy. You have a question? Sure.
Yeah, I can hear you, but yeah.
So my question, being that we're talking about mothers of innovation, right? And you being a mom and the CEO of your company, do you find it almost imperative or necessary to employ other women that are mothers for marketing purposes, for administrative or whatever? How deep do you go into the mom thing?
I actually, it's a great question.
It's an excellent question.
Yes, I love it, but it's complicated. I would say that, number one, Nanit is really meant to support families. So it's not really, so I don't really put a preference on mom or dad, but I like to have both in the company. And when I joined the company, there weren't a lot of moms. It was definitely a little lighter on the mom front. So in order to shift that balance so that we could have that healthy conversation between what moms needed and what dads needed, yes, I have definitely infused the company with more moms. But I don't really leverage it from a marketing perspective. It's more about just having that balance between what both of them need so that we're serving the needs of both. My hope for Nanit is that we'll do more personalization so that fathers will get what they need because it may be different from what mothers need. So having the perspective of both in the company is really what we've been trying to create so far.
It's a great question. You want to come up?
Parents are an interesting market to target, right? And especially like younger parents nowadays and new parents. When you look at kind of the different opportunities for channels that you guys have to explore, whether it be TikTok or Amazon or Direct or Bye Bye Baby, what channels kind of excite you the most as growth for the future as a company focusing on parents?
That is also a great question. So when I first came into Nanit, the landscape for us from a channel perspective was really about baby registries. It was really around this wish list or this checklist of items that parents needed. So how do we make sure that we're on that list? Where are people going? And it turned out that most people were going to major retailers like a Bye Bye Baby, like an Amazon, like Target. And they were building their registry, and as long as we could kind of get in front of them that way as they were doing their research, we didn't have to lean into the word of mouth as much. However, I will say that landscape shifts, just like every other landscape. That landscape has shifted quite a bit into more of an aggregator type of moment where people don't want to just have the choices that a channel like a Bye Bye Baby has set for them. These are the things you can choose from, pick one. No, they want to be able to go out and look for niche brands and up-and-comers and these smaller D2C businesses, and they want to be able to add that to their baby registry. So they're turning to places like a Baby List to look for ways to build a wish list where they can keep it centralized but also have a lot of choice. That being said, when it comes to the things that I'm kind of most excited about, I really believe in kind of that network effect as it relates to, how the brands I respect and admire have been built. So I'm looking for where are those opportunities to generate or tap into word of mouth, which is really what inspired Nanit to build a community. So we now have a community platform, and I think that platform and how it ties into some of these up-and-comers, maybe TikTok, definitely Instagram seems to be the world of parents today, but that could change because Facebook was once, and it seems to change so fast. But I think having the community and finding ways to make the connection so parents are making recommendations and really, encouraging their friends and those they know to use Nanit because they feel good about making that recommendation. That is where I think I would like us to try to move to rather than kind of just focusing on some of the more heavily acquisition-based efforts that we put into some of the registry channels.
Yeah, that was two great questions. And, I was thinking, with Nanit, the competition is great out there. There's a lot of different companies that are doing similar technology. But just bringing it down to other people who have ideas and they are afraid because they're entering, into a crowded marketplace already. Is there always room for one more? And how do you separate yourself and make yours, like you said, the most personalized or the best at what you do so that people want to use it over the others?
Well, of course, I want Nanit to rule the world. So no, there's no room for anybody else. No. I do think there's one of the things I love about competition is that it forces me to change, and I like to change. I like to think differently, and I don't think anybody wins unless they do, right? So that's kind of a hard and fast rule. With Nanit, my hope would be that we could also, the types of technology we have and the types of things we could do, we could ultimately support other people in the space as well. So I would love for people to feel like they do have other choices, but there's maybe that one specific thing that they love about Nanit that's very special to us. But because it's tech, we could potentially share that technology with other, with other vehicles or even other monitors someday. That would be my hope.
So it's really the art of collaboration. Right, very good. Any lasting thoughts, any words of inspiration? Because we're in the inspiration tent today.
Yes, I forgot. I was joking with you. I'm not wise. I didn't get the wisdom tent.
Exactly.
Not the inspiration. Oh my gosh. I think the part that I mentioned earlier about being able to bring mom to work every day. Being a mom is such a huge piece of my life that, my words of inspiration are, find what you love and bring what you love to work every day. And I think you can do that in almost any job, any setting. But it takes a little bit of, self-reflection to be able to do that. But I think it's just incredibly rewarding to find that in yourself and be able to bring that out in what you spend so much of your time on.
That's perfect. Well, everyone, thank you for listening in. Sarah Dorsett, thank you very much for introducing us to this amazing technology called Nanit. How can people find Nanit? And if someone wanted to reach out for more information, how would they do that?
All of the social channels that you would look for or use were everywhere. So I would say that if you wanted to reach out on Twitter, I'm Nanit Sarah on Twitter, but otherwise nanit.com and every social media outlet, you can find a lot of information in both places.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Sarah. Appreciate it.